It's a cloudy day out today, and the temperature is probably hovering in the upper 70s to low 80s. So I've decided that it's the perfect day to finally tackle the beast. And I'm going to start sanding the bottom of the boat. I had to stop at the hardware store to get a few more goodies for the jobs that need to get done with sanding and painting the bottom. I've got my mask, I've got gloves, my bunny suit, as people call them, I've heard. This will be for when I tape off the water line. More masks. And also my safety goggles. A couple other things I actually added to the list. One is I'm using these earbuds. They're not technically protection for ears, but I think it'll help keep the sound down a little bit when I'm using the sander. And I also got a plastic baggie because I'm going to put my phone inside of it so that my phone doesn't get all dusty from the bottom paint that's going to come off once I start sanding. I'll use the Ziploc bag to put my phone in so that I can record some of what I'm doing and not get my phone all messed up. Once I got to the boat, I got all of my safety gear on, and then I went ahead and set up my square electric sander with 100 grit sandpaper. Using this type of sander, I had to use this, what they call a key, to insert this in here. Pry it open. If you press down on this, it releases a spring in here so that I could place the correct length of sandpaper inside. I'm gonna try to put my camera inside the Ziploc now and see if I can record some of what I'm doing without getting dust inside my camera. After sanding, I did a quick rinse off to get all of the dust off the boat before painting. Today's the day where I start the painting process. I've got my painter's tape ready to go, so I'm gonna go ahead and tape off the water line. After I get that done, I gotta don on some clothes and my mask and goggles and gloves to protect me from the paint. Using the blue painter's tape to tape off the water line on the hull was not as straightforward as I initially thought it would be. I thought I could use long strips of the painter's tape along sections of the hull, but I found that I could not keep the line straight along the water line itself. That said, I had to break it off into smaller sections so that I could make sure that I was staying where I needed to be on the line itself and that I wouldn't paint in areas that I wasn't supposed to be painting. This is the problem I'm running into after I taped everything up on this port side. I now see that the bottom paint just runs up to the water line, whereas before there was a clear separation. You could probably see it behind the tape there. So I guess I'm just gonna have to tape it close up like that because I'm not gonna get rid of all that paint. As I was working on taping the water line, I saw a bee that was buzzing around this through hole here. So I just taped over it now temporarily to keep him out of there and out of this one too. I'm no marine biologist, but I think that those are remnants of barnacles. The taping is complete. I just finished up the starboard side. And I had to tape over some of the through holes. This one, obviously, I'm not going to paint over, but I taped this over to keep the wasps and bees out. It's time to start painting the boat. Before I can do that, though, I've got to get all my safety gear on again. Mask, goggles, I have to wear a sweatshirt with a hood, and I'm not looking forward to it because I'm going to be hot. What else do I have to put on? Oh yeah, my goggles. The paint that I'm going to use is Petite or Petit, I don't know, Hydro Coat ablative anti-fouling paint. In reading the back of the paint can, I noticed that there were all sorts of warnings and precautions, so I made sure to use proper facial coverings, clothing, and gloves before I started to paint. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. got just half of the boat done. It's not too hot now because the sun's starting to go down and all, but I'm pretty tired, so I'm gonna get up tomorrow morning to finish before it gets hot. I actually ended up doing the whole side by paintbrush. I didn't use the roller because it seemed a little messy. I'm not the world's greatest painter by any means, but I, just try to go back and forth, up and down, over to make sure I got good coverage. The paint specifically said on the top of the can that you should not put it on too thick. It said actually do it thin. It will probably be difficult to see in this light because the sun is going down, but I think there's some spots I can see. Well, you're supposed to do 2 coats. So once I do the second coat, that'll probably get rid of those spots that are a little bit on the bare side. I'll tell you what was really tough is getting down on the keel. I had to get down in between there. Maybe I should use the roller and that'll be better. I don't know. Tomorrow's another day, as the saying goes, and I will see if I can do a better job with the second coat, maybe using the roller. Now that the paint is a little lower in the can, I should be able to maybe pour it a little easier without making a huge mess. Time to go get cleaned up, and I'll be back tomorrow morning. The bottom paint on No Mas is finally done. I now have the satisfying job of being able to peel off the blue painter's tape. Looks like I got some bit of bleeding in here. I thought I did that really tight, but evidently not, because there's a little bit of bleed through. But, oh well. This was the first time I had ever painted the bottom of a boat before. I definitely learned many lessons along the way and throughout the process. I'd say the biggest lesson is that I probably should not have relied so much on the paintbrush, and I should have been braver about using the roller earlier on in the project. I was reluctant to use the roller because it meant I would have had to pour the paint into the paint tray, and doing that would have been pretty messy. So I tried to just use the paintbrush for the majority of the job, when in reality, I should have used the roller and I would have had a better, smoother finish when I got done. Sunny will be coming out of the water once we get No Mas in the water. I have some plans for Sunny, which I will reveal at a later date. Stay tuned for the next video, which I hope will be when we splash No Mas. Until next time, fair winds, my friends.